What's going on, guys? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers and somebody that is a huge boxing fan, D Murray. D Murray just left a comment on my video. D's one of the guys that comes on and comments consistently on my videos, and he left a message. I appreciate your content, and appreciate all the content that you deliver for for boxing. I appreciate it, D. I really appreciate you watching my videos, leaving a comment on all the videos. It makes me feel good. Makes me feel like there's people out there that are constantly watching me. So yeah, it means a lot. And D basically said that tell your subscribers to subscribe. It doesn't charge. I think everybody on YouTube knows that it's free of charge not to subscribe, but yeah, just remember, it is free. Anyone that thinks by hitting the subscribe button it costs or anything, no, it's free on YouTube. I don't think apparently some people charge on YouTube, which is crazy. I wouldn't. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I don't know why you would charge for this sort of content. I guess if people are that in demand and people want to watch them, why not? They use their the fact that they're in demand to charge on their videos, which I think is a bit crazy, but because there's a separate platforms for that. There's Patreon and stuff. I know there's a membership option once you hit 30k. I think there's a membership option where I think you can start charging, but I don't think I'd ever get into that, just because I'm not into that. There's live streams where your subscribers can leave super chats, and also now there's super thanks as well, where your subscribers can leave super thanks on your videos, which is great stuff for content creators. So yeah, to be honest, I don't think you need to charge. I think there's the platform YouTube. You can earn enough money from the advertising revenue, and also now what used to be a fan donation before now is super chat and super thanks. So I don't know why people would want to charge for the videos. I think it's just quite greedy. Fair enough if you're doing something on the side separate, fair enough, but I think for boxing content to be charging, I think that's pretty, I think that's a bit extreme. But yeah, that's just my take. But yeah, cheers to D Murray, great subscriber, man. We need more people like D that leave their comments on videos that are non-biased, say it how it is. Great subscriber, and fair play to him. He's got a great boxing mind as well. Whenever he leaves a comment, it's always well thought of. I never see him leave any crap. I usually agree with virtually everything he says, and that to me tells me that he's very balanced, because I feel like I'm pretty balanced and pretty fair in my analysis. So yeah, I appreciate D. I appreciate your comments, and yeah, let's move on to this video. Guys, yesterday I made a video about the fact that Canelo said that he struggled with his stamina and stuff. He now in an interview said that I'm finding it hard to get over the Canelo. I always think about the Bivol fight. Canelo Alvarez is finding it difficult to get over that fight. Whether you see, I can see it in his mentality, his body language. He's really found it tough. Losing is not easy for a sportsman, very difficult. And when you are used to winning, this man is used to winning. He's devastated right now. Canelo is, I'm telling you, he is devastated. When I mean devastated, he is. I personally think the reason why you're seeing all this animosity towards Triple G, he's just really peed off. Inside, he's burning. Inside, he's hurting. He's trying to put on a tough face, but he's really hurting. And that happens to athletes that are winners, that have been winning for a very long time, and all of a sudden they lose. Some people crack. Some people come out with like ludicrous excuses, Deontay Wilder. Some people go into depression like Klitschko did. It's very difficult when you're a winner and all you're doing is experiencing winning, and then all of a sudden you take a loss. everybody reacts differently. And this is why I didn't want Mayweather to take a loss. To be honest, if you win, you deserve to win. But I would have loved to see if Mayweather had lost, how he would have acted, come back from that, and how he would have been mentally from taking an L. Because for me, Mayweather built his whole career on that O. A loss for him would have been like, for me, it would have been devastating for him. I don't think he would have taken loss pretty well, Floyd, because he built his own career. Like Canelo had lost very early on, so even then, look how badly he's taken the loss. He's not a sore loser, because he kind of said, yeah, no, I don't think he said the better man won. He said, you know, he said no excuses, but then he moved on. But he said, you know, I got tired. And then he said that there was reasons for, you know, before the fight, there was reasons. So he didn't openly admit what those reasons were, because he probably didn't want to come across as a guy making excuses, which is fair enough. But he's a different man right now. Canelo Alvarez, he's hurting. He's been affected, and you're seeing that. And Gennady Golovkin actually brought this up in the not in the press conference, but after in the camera, when he was being interviewed. He actually said, I think Canelo Alvarez is suffering from losing to Dmitry Bivol, and hence why you're seeing him act a bit weird. You know, I'd have to agree with that. I think he is acting a little weird. I think he's acting a bit out of character. You know, he's a bit more angry than what he normally is. You know, calling Triple G an a-hole, which, to be honest with you, like Canelo Alvarez of late has started becoming more vocal since he started learning English. I like that. I like that about Canelo. He's opened up and he's starting to curse people, especially when he thinks they're you know, disrespecting him. So, you know, I like that side of Canelo Alvarez. But this side of Canelo Alvarez, Canelo looks a bit frustrated, looks angry. And I think most importantly, he's hurting. He's hurting. I think it's quite clear to see when you know, I've played sport not at a high level. And I remember when I used to take a loss when we were in a final or semis or whatever in cricket and we lost, man. And that's a team sport. Man, I was devastated at times. Sometimes I couldn't get up. Sometimes I couldn't sleep at night, you know. And that's not at the level these guys are getting paid. It's their job. It's what they do for a living, you know, and it's obviously devastating for him to take that loss, because he's used to winning. Also, he got into this frame where he thought he was unbeatable. So he was saying, I could go up and I could beat Usyk, I could do this. And Golovkin even said in a you know, one-to-one interview that he needs to come back to reality, that for him fighting Usyk is ridiculous, which is kind of true. It is ridiculous, but this is what people were saying. People were saying that Canelo should fight Usyk and he's become that unbeatable. And this is what I'm trying to say. Canelo almost had an aura about him where people viewed him as like unstoppable, unbeatable. And that's obviously not the case now, because Bivol beat him. And he wants to fight Bivol instead of Golovkin. He said, Canelo said that I want to fight Bivol. I want the Bivol rematch, not the Golovkin fight. You know, but he was kind of, because of what DAZN had this contract in place, I think he was forced. I think he wanted to fight Bivol. He wanted the Bivol fight. Because he was contractually in this, I don't think he could get out of it. And I think DAZN were pushing for it. DAZN wanted it because I think DAZN thought, you know, the Bivol fight could be risky. If he goes into a Bivol fight, takes an L, then that Golovkin fight's literally dead out the water. So what they're thinking is there's a good chance Canelo's going to beat Golovkin, and then we'll get a huge surge of subscriptions, and then we can get another big surge of subscriptions fighting Bivol. But if he fights Bivol again, then the Golovkin fight and loses, the Golovkin fight's almost dead. And also, what have they got to do with Golovkin as well? You know, because Golovkin might have to take another fight if Canelo fights Bivol. So yeah, look, I think Canelo Alvarez, he's hurting. He wanted to go back in with Bivol. And again, that shows the competitive nature of the man, because the guy can easily say, you know what, I'm too small for 175. He's even said, after I beat Golovkin, then we're going to start negotiating the Bivol fight. I think Canelo Alvarez should probably look to, in my opinion, fight Charlo or Benavidez. But Bivol, Canelo's gonna fight Bivol. He can't get over that. You know, he's hurting. And a lot of you people that say Canelo will duck and avoid, no, he won't. He won't. He's hurting too much, and he's crazy. Canelo is crazy enough to take that rematch again because he's hurting. And when you're hurting and when your pride's been hurt, right? When your pride has been hurt, it's very difficult for you to get over that. And you want to go in and put it right, even though people may not believe you can, and it might not be the right thing for you to do. Canelo is hurting. Canelo is really hurting. He's upset. He's burning inside. He can't get over it. He can't get over it. So it's hard for him, which I can understand because, you know, Canelo's not used to taking losses. But that's life. You know, everyone takes losses. You know, whether it's sport, whether it's life, you take losses. And it's how you respond and how you bounce back from that. We get to see your character. We get to see how you were able to come back from blips. And Canelo's come back before. And I'm pretty sure he can come back again. It's just this time, last time when he got beat to Floyd Mayweather, I think it was different because he was expected to lose. And he took it well. He was a kid as well. Now he's in his prime and people were saying he's unbeatable, he's unstoppable. So him taking a loss now hurt him a lot more than what it did back then. So it's finding it a lot more difficult, which is understandable. Let's hope that, you know, it doesn't affect him mentally. That he goes in there and he does something stupid against Golovkin, because, you know, he is talking a bit crazy. He is talking a bit wild. And that can, when you go in there and you're emotionally invested in a fight, that's not good. You know, you need to box smart, especially against Golovkin. Golovkin's a very big hitter. You know, he can punch. So Canelo's got to be careful in this fight. This isn't by no means a gimme for Canelo. So that's my take on this. Guys, as you know, that there's a lot of trouble going on with Tommy Fury and Jake Paul. You know, this is a fight that was announced a while back, and then it got cancelled because Tommy Fury had to have some kind, he had an injury, shoulder, was it? And then now the fight got scheduled again, and now the fight has been put in doubt again because Tommy Fury is not being allowed access in the US. Now, we know that Tyson Fury was recently rejected to be allowed to go to US. Something to do with the Daniel Kinahan stuff. I don't know what's going off there. I know that Matthew Macklin, I think a few guys were not allowed to go that had a link with Daniel Kinahan. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird what's going off. Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, it's a fight that a lot of people want to see. They're building up interest. There's a lot of interest in the fight. A lot of people have split opinions who'd win the fight as well. A lot of people think Jake Paul beats Tommy Fury, which Malignaggi said that Jake wins the fight. Malignaggi said that don't be fooled by the Fury name. He's more a reality boxer than he is a boxer. And I kind of have to agree. You know, he is more of a reality star at this point than a boxer until he proves otherwise. And a lot of people are backing Jake. And the fact that Jake is taking the fight, I think that in itself should tell you that he's obviously confident that he can beat someone like Tommy Fury. And look, Jake is very athletic. He is fast and he can punch. That's a dangerous fight for Fury. You know, and he's a big guy, Jake, as well. So I'm looking forward to that if that fight does happen. What I would say is, if that fight can't happen in the US, I don't know why Jake don't go over to the UK. Probably because Jake has a big fan base over the US and it'll be a pro-Jake crowd. And maybe he just doesn't want to move over or go over to the, you know, he doesn't want to fly over to England for the fight, where maybe he thinks that Tommy might have the upper hand as Jake is the A side, you know. And Tyson Fury said that there's no pressure on either of them because they're both, he goes, if Tommy loses, then obviously Tommy's no good because the British champion, whoever the British champion is, he goes, he would beat Jake Paul. So if Tommy can't beat Jake Paul, then Tommy might as well pack it in. Because there's no way Tommy's going to go and do anything in boxing, which is kind of true. But we don't know how good Jake is. We don't know how far Jake can go. You know, Jake's been working very hard. But I kind of have to agree with Tyson Fury. I don't think anybody thinks that Jake would go and beat the European champion or the British champion at this point. So if Tommy was to lose to him, then Tommy is no good. Unless Tommy was to come back and prove us wrong, Tommy is not reaching any kind of level. Even though it's his brother, he's pretty harsh and pretty straight, and I think he's right. I think his dad would say that as well. They're pretty ruthless. They even talked about disowning him if he loses, which I think that's a bit extreme. At the end of the day, it's a fight, it's a sport, anything can happen. Especially, it's not like Tommy Fury's you know, an all-time great fighter or, you know, a proper boxer. He's a guy at the start of his career. We don't know how good he is. So yeah, he's basically a novice himself. So yeah, that's a good fight. That's a good fight. There'll be a lot of intrigue in that. Basically, two reality stars fighting each other. It's a good fight, man. It's a good fight. You know, one comes from a fighting family, one comes from a social media. One's a social media star. So I like it. I think it's a good fight. Who knows? Who knows? Anything could happen. I think that's the intrigue. I think people look at that as a 50-50 fight. The amount of people picking, you know, Jake to win. Like, we're talking boxers like Carl Frampton, Paulie Malignaggi. There's a lot of people, a lot of boxers. Not just a lot of boxers, a lot of people like Ray that comes on my channel. He's picking Jake as well. So there's obviously a lot of people that think that, you know, Tommy's not, he's not all that, you know, which fair enough, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm intrigued. Hopefully that they can get that thing sorted. Jake did leave Tommy a message saying that we've left things that you've got to do with your team in order to get over this situation. I don't know what it can be. If they're not allowed in, if he's not allowed in the US because of the Kinan situation, then I don't know how they're going to resolve that. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think about this Tommy Fury and Jake situation. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.